Let's preview the final week of the season. Up next on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Friday, September 19th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. Let's preview the final week of the season. Week 27. First up, we have the schedule. All 30 teams have 6 games next week. What about the Rockies? All 6 are on the road. Starter sit these 2-star pitchers. Brady Singer is home against the Pirates and at the Brewers.
So I think Brady Singer's close to being a must, as good as he's been the past couple months, mixing in a sweeper more, missing more bats. And the first of those 2 matchups is as good as it gets. It's against the Pirates. Brewers, not so much. But if he's going to miss out on a second start, which is the case for a lot of pitchers this week, right? Final week of the season, every team playing only 6 games, so even less margin for error there in terms of 2-star pitchers. Just 1 spot starter gets inserted, and there are no 2-star pitchers for that team. And I think we're going to see a lot of that because, playoff-bound teams, unless they're having to fight tooth and nail for their spot, they're going to want to reconfigure their rotation for the playoffs. And non-contenders, they're free to experiment anything they want. There's no tomorrow. So if they just want to give some minor leaguer a random start, they could do that. If they just decide we're going to shut this guy down, he's thrown enough, they could do that without any consequence. So the list of 2-star pitchers is already really short for this week. 23 names is all I have here. Sometimes it's twice that big. I think it's going to be a lot fewer than 23 that actually end up making 2 starts. So consider in particular what the first matchup is for a 2-star pitcher, and if you really need to go after the 2-star pitcher, given that he might not actually make 2 starts. But again, Brady Singer, first of the 2 starts is against the Pirates, so I think he's a good choice.
What about Lucas Giolito at the Blue Jays, home against the Tigers?
So neither of those matchups are great, and Lucas Giolito hasn't been great lately, but I think in points leagues you'll probably still use him.
Jack Flaherty
only in points leagues.
Jack Flaherty at the Guardians and at the Red Sox.
Also only in points leagues. That Guardians matchup, it's the first of the 2, and it's the better one. But Flaherty's been pretty unreliable.
Luis Gil gets the White Sox and the Orioles.
So those are 2 really good matchups. I don't think Luis Gil is nearly as good as his ERA this season. I think his last start was the wake-up call that was inevitable. But because those matchups are so good, if you're looking to maximize volume in a points league, Luis Gil doesn't seem like the sort of pitcher that the Yankees would want to be aligning for a playoff rotation spot. So I think we can count on him making those 2 starts, maybe in a points league, but obviously not at all in a categories league. Way too much whip risk there.
David Peterson is at the Cubs and at the Marlins.
I could kind of say the same thing for him that I said for Luis Gil. Maybe in a points league, but too much whip risk for categories leagues.
And Ryan Weathers is at the Phillies, home against the Mets.
That's just going to be a no for me. 2 tough matchups, and he hasn't done enough to earn our trust.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with more sleepers after this.
You can't count on Derek's taunt skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount+.
Welcome back in FBT Express. Let's get into the 2-star pitchers to add and stream for the final week. 3 names on the list. Who are they?
They are Justin Verlander, and I've been talking about this one for weeks now. It looks like it's actually going to happen. He lines up for 2 starts, and they are the Cardinals and the Rockies away from Coors Field. So really, really favorable matchups there. For a pitcher who's looked great recently, Justin Verlander, I think he's pretty close to being must start, and he's available in nearly half of CBS Sports leagues. Probably a good time to mention, too, with the weird things we're going to see for rotations this final week. The Giants are one of 2 teams that seem to be going 4-man for this final week. I imagine that'll change if they're officially knocked out of the playoff race. The Diamondbacks are the other. They appear to be going with a 4-man rotation. So even though they're both playing just 6 games, they do have two-start pitchers for this week. Verlander is the first of the 2 for Giants, Logan Webb the second. So Webb would be more likely to lose that second start than Verlander if things change. The Diamondbacks, Brandon Pfaadt is the first of the 2-start pitchers. Ryan Nelson, the second of the 2-start pitchers. Unfortunately, Nelson's the more interesting one for fantasy, but also more likely to lose that second start. Getting back to the streamers, Justin Verlander, great matchups. Almost certainly going to use him this week. Ian Seymour, rookie, has looked great. His matchups are at Baltimore. It's a pretty good matchup. At Toronto, not so good, but he did just face the Blue Jays last time out, and it was his best start yet. So I think Ian Seymour's trustworthy with these 2 starts. And Christian Javier is the third here. He's a little iffy for me because I'm not sure how good he is, frankly. It's been kind of a misbag returning from UCL surgery. At Athletics is the first of his starts. Tough place to pitch, obviously, but sometimes a vulnerable lineup. And then at the Angels, been kind of the kingmaker for streamer pitchers here in the second half. So I think, at least in points leagues, you could consider Christian Javier.
All right, what about the 1-start streamers? We have 7 names, most of them pretty interesting.
Yeah, a lot more 1-start pitchers. And again, when in doubt, lean with the 1-start guy this week because a lot of the 2-start guys are going to end up being 1-start guys. Emmett Sheehan at the Mariners. He's been pitching deep into games, missing bats like crazy. Trey Yesavage of the Blue Jays is facing the Rays and looked so good in his first start. His second start will come against the Royals over the weekend. Presuming that goes well, I think you'll definitely want to use Yesavage against the Rays. Hurston Waldrop faces the Nationals. He faced them last time too, but he got a lot of strikeouts, and they've been a really weak lineup in the second half. So I think Waldrop's a good choice. Connolly Early and Parker Messick both face the Tigers. They're rookies who haven't been up for long, but have been pretty effective, very reliable. So even with kind of a tough matchup there against the Tigers, I think Early and Messick are good to stream. Luis Morales gets the Royals. Favorable matchup. He hasn't been quite as strong lately, but the matchup's good enough that you can consider Morales. And finally, Stephen Kolek of the Royals. He faces the Angels next time out, and he's coming off a huge start on Thursday with a lot of strikeouts. Really more of a ground ball guy, but he's been using the changeup a lot more since joining the Royals, and has yet to miss as far as quality starts goes. So I think Stephen Kolek, a good deep sleeper for the final week.
Let's slide over to the hitters. The best matchups for next week: Astros, Royals, Giants, Braves, and White Sox. The worst hitter matchups: D-backs, Reds, Marlins, Rockies, and Pirates. Who are your sleeper hitters for the final time this season?
It's not the greatest list. I wish it was better. It just seems like there are more not schedules that aren't so favorable to hitters than are favorable to hitters this final week. So I got Trent Grisham at the top of the list. He's pretty widely rostered, but since I was having a hard time coming up with names, I really wanted to stress, yeah, you should use him. He's available in about a quarter of CBS Sports leagues. Gets the White Sox and the Orioles, coming off a great week for the Yankees. A great season overall for Grisham. Actually, he's kind of been under-rostered all year. Isaac Paredes, sleeper hitter. We haven't seen him in months, but I can't imagine doing much better than him off the waiver wire for this final week. He's expected back over the weekend from, again, it's been out a couple months with a leg injury. He has the best matchups. The Astros have the best hitter matchups this week, and obviously Paredes was a must start before going down. Carlos Correa is playing third base now, but DH spot is open with Yordan Alvarez hurt, so Isaac Paredes shouldn't have trouble playing, and I think he'll play well. Drake Baldwin's on this list for a second straight week. Fourth best hitter matchups for the Braves. He's playing basically every day with Sean Murphy hurt. Moises Ballesteros, another rookie catcher. Actually, he hasn't been playing catcher. He's been playing DH for the Cubs, but he's been doing it every day, putting up good numbers. And I like Ballesteros for this week. A couple Nationals outfielders who have been hot, Dylan Cruz and Dalen Lyle. Their matchups are decent, particularly finishing out the year against the White Sox pitching staff. Jose Caballero, the Yankees' new shortstop and MLB stolen base leader, has been hitting well lately. Has those same favorable matchups as Trent Grisham. Marcelo Zuna, been hitting a little better lately. No, I don't think he's a must-start by any means, but the Braves have the fourth best hitter matchups. Ha-Seong Kim's going to benefit from those matchups too. He's been getting a lot of singles. I wish there were more steals there, but shortstop's a hard position to fill. And I got another catcher, a third catcher here on the sleeper hitters, a third rookie catcher at that. Carter Jensen, only 6% rostered in CBS Sports Leagues. He plays for the Royals, even with Salvador Perez there. He's been playing basically every day and hitting well, near even strikeout to walk ratio. Had a 2-homer game recently, put up big numbers in the minors. Royals have the second best hitter matchups. So if you're hurting at catcher this week, you certainly shouldn't be, because there are a lot of good options.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again next week. Bye-bye.